Try that again. Well, hello there. Did you guys know that microphones work better when you turn them on? I did. Just now. I learned it. Alright. Let me make sure. Think we're good. That needs to be that, though. Like so. Okie dokie. So. What are we getting up to? We have bugs. That's what we're getting up to. We had... This is getting run twice, effectively. Duplicate connections were happening when we were running this. So it comes in, and we're breaking on the condition of this being the coordinate of 1, 1. Okay. So this should be the first time, and it's going to go through. And, wait, no, this is delete room. So that means we're down... Why would delete room be getting called in here? Hold up. This is load map. Oh, yeah. Okay. I scrolled too far. We're in load map. So we go in, we update that, and we have an error. So it's when we update the connection tile. So it's happening in load. Load map. We go through, rebuild a map for our connection IDs. We add it to connections. That's our temporary guy. We add you, and then we call update with this connection. We grab the parent ID out of you. And we set the connection table there, which is different from the connection data table, which is a bad name. We should fix you eventually. We go into update. Get your parent offset. We get the parent tile. We go through the list. This is our connection that we're looking at here. If the connection vector is equal and connection IDs are equal, then our list index is this. Otherwise, if the connection IDs are not equal, it's a problem. And then we double check the why'd we double check that? So we check to make sure the vectors match and the IDs match. If the UUIDs match and the connection vectors don't, then we throw this. If the vectors match and the IDs don't, okay, yeah. Because we wanted to check both ways, because it gives us a better output of an error. And then we do the work there. So why would they be doing double? Come back in here real quick. And we got parent tile connections is only one. Okay, that makes sense at this particular point in time. Because we're building it. So it hasn't had the rest added yet. Because, unless I'm completely insane, yeah, we loop through the connection IDs and we add the connection that we pull out of the table there. Okay, so we've only got the one to look at. And our connection data, in this case, do we just not account for adding this connection? So 0, 0 to 1, 0. But you exist. How did you end up in here? Right here. That's how you wound up in here. We didn't take that out, I think. I'm gonna run this just regular. I think that was supposed to come out when we changed it and we never did, and it was just overwriting. Destination table didn't have that, so it's a different error. And our destination is supposed to be down here. Okay, so come through here. So you've got connections already now. So we set the connection tile data. Let's get rid of there now. Destination map offset. So this connection is 0, 0 to 1, 1. So it's the diagonal one. Which is our break. So it's one that we had an issue with. Destination table has nothing. So we set it. And now we have 2, 2 is this ID. This ID is the connection ID. So that, let's see here, it was B55B is you. And that looks pretty much correct to me. And then we go through again. And we're getting, origin already has a connection on vector. Why? Why would that be? Parent connection. And this is an else, so it shouldn't have evaluated. UUID is that guy. This connection is not the same ID. Oh, we didn't, connection vector. So 0, 0 to 1, 1. Connections, only one right now. 0, 0 to 1, 1. From the west to the east. Zero, 0 to 1, 1. This is not the right origin and destination. What happened there? is that oops. You wouldn't be here. You'd be over here. There's only one of you. This should be 0010. How did you wind up with a wrong destination? I need just a text editor here to grab that ID. And I want to go up to where we pull in our connections. Up here in load map. Let's look at right here. So we have our connection data table. And this actually is the first one. Yes. You are 00 to 10. That is correct. So. We go do everything. We come down to tile data. If your connections are not empty, then we're going to loop through them. So there's 3 connections in here. One of them is our B55B friend. We go pull him out. This connection, B55B. Connection is not null. So we add him to the connection table. And we go into update. I don't think we need to add him to the connection table anymore, but that's fine. Connection ID should be okay. Okay, parent offset location. So we have that 00. We have the parent tile now 00. We check your connections. You don't have any. So this whole block gets skipped. We set the data. Okay. This is -1. Shouldn't be, though. Ah. This is where I've gone wrong. Wait, no, if it's greater than -1. Okay, yeah. That's correct. So this should evaluate true. We should add it to our connections. But it didn't. This is the wrong thing to add, though, isn't it? Oh, no, we update him. Wait, it's not greater than negative. Duh. So yeah, that should be false, because it never got set. So it wasn't in the list. Okay. We get our destination offset. Now, if we remember, it would have been 1, 1, right? Yeah, okay. So our destination offset is 2, 2. Destination table will not contain this because it's empty. So we add him. And then we go through to the next guy. And this connection is 0, 0 to 1, 1. It has a different UUID here. So we map you connection ID, which is you, into our table, and then we drop back in here. We pull you out. We get your coordinates, we get you. And then we go through the connections. This is still correct. Connection data is you. So this is the first one. So its vector should be east. This guy should be southeast. So this should not be true. We're still not okay. The UUID should not match. And the connection vector should not match. Southeast. Oh, why is the parent connection vector? So I is 0. From the west to the east. Why is your connection vector wrong? Origin, direction to, destination. Southeast. That's very much not correct. So target X minus, okay, so we need to go back and look at this probably, but target X, so 1 minus 0. So this should result in 1, 1. Oh, wait, no. This has gotten messed up. Parent connection's messed up. It's the old connection still. How did that happen? When did that happen? Okay. Let's actually go into here. Our parent tile should have no connections right now. Right, okay. And it's going to add them up. And then we're going to come back through. It's only going to have the 1 from the west to the east. That's correct. And right there, somehow it gets, okay. What? Zero. It gets boogered up down here. This connection. So let's come down here. Okay, you should have no connections right now, correct. Still nothing. And this connection, still 0, 0 to 1, 0. This connection, 0, 0 to 1, 0. Connections. How the hell do you figure? Does it go into that somehow? Shouldn't. What in the world? No connections. Our list index is -1. It remains -1. This connection is still correct. This connection is still correct. We set our tile data. Zero, 0, 1, 0. From the west to why? Why and how? How the hell does that get broken like that? That's bizarre. Like how? The hell? Like I can clone you? Don't think that's why, though. Shouldn't be why. And yet... something must be running at the same time with a reference, basically. Like, that's the only thing that makes any sense. And then we should have... I've come too far to do that. So this should be 2, 2. So test controller, destination table. We do have a 2, 2. And then starting data UUID 4719. It's not in there. What's going on in here? Something is deeply unhappy. I've made a mistake at a fundamental level somewhere. Let's take a look at we have our tests that describe behavior. So we can kind of refactor some things here. It's obviously not going well. This approach is not working. Deleting a room. We'll put on the back burner for a second. Why did we suddenly need to make a copy for loading a map? So we put that into our connection table. Let's not have this guy updating the parents. Let's kind of start there. This should really only update the tile, I think. Set connection tile data. Target vector, parent offset, and the data that should go in it. This should be okay. We're going to put this back in here. And we can eliminate a lot of this. We should be able to get rid of all of this. And all of this. Nope, not that. This. We're going to pull that out, and it's going to live somewhere else. Don't know where just yet, which is why it's commented instead of deleted. On a load, we just need to add it. And then... This is the problem, because we need the ID of the room in the destination table. And we could do that at the end, I suppose. The other place it gets used, though, we call you here. Which is why we started trying to modify stuff in there. We would need to do could we do that? What would this look like if we were to update the connection data? You know what it really looks like? It looks like the same thing as we do an update room. Kind of. Because we split delete off just because it made things easier. I want to keep this just updating the connection tiles. I want this to be down. The rest of the like super low level internal helpers, I think. Those guys can live in that block. That's fine. And then here, just thinking here. Because like we need to do the same work. You should throw me an... Yeah, you throw an error. But because you're not being used for both anymore, I think we can just put this in place here. And are we back? I think we're back. Internet dropout there. Yeah, okay. We are back. My camera has gone all blurry though. Let me fix that really quick before we continue on. You. There we go. All right. So if we're going to pull these two apart, we have our parent offset. This can move up here now. And then we can do these checks. And then we can do the updates to the destination as appropriate. Except we're updating the parent. Except if this iterates and it was defined 2 in there, we'd have a problem. So we need to clean that up. Do I really need to care that much about the IDs and things matching? Probably. Because it indicates that something has gone wrong, right? It means that there's some kind of bad data has been passed in here. Something is wound up in the wrong spot. We still need to clean this up, though. I think what we're going to do... We're going to ditch this idea. We're just going to set you directly. Otherwise, we'll throw our errors. Yeah. That's fine. In theory. No, that doesn't account for a new... Do we need to check both ways? If we come through here and we have the same vector and the IDs don't match, or if we have the same ID and the vectors don't match, we can also do, let's try this. Actually, we'll probably want to do can't do like a replace where. Okay. We can do this, though, if I could type the right character. This might be a problem. If we didn't do that. Say, hey, the thing there needs to be this. So we'll do that. And we'll leave those in. Still need to know, however, if we have failed to find it. I guess we can just do that. We should be able to break the loop at that point. And then this just becomes that. Now, this would need to be if it doesn't have it, then add it. And then if we didn't have that offset, that destination coordinate at all, then we just need to add. Okay. Now, update room connection needs to get slotted in here. Oop, not there. Update tile. We need to do that. Okay. In theory, except we haven't solved needing to put the connections in just yet. we need to go through no, except for yeah. Oh, we don't need to use that one. We still have the this. And we say that, and we say we need to basically do the same thing. So we need a helper because we're going to be repeating this pattern where we need to either update the list or add the coordinate. So we're going to do you can live down here. And then yeah. Making sure my brain that I have, I believe I have all the information at this stage. Destination coordinates to the connection ID. And part of what we do when we load connection data has a UUID. So we should be okay. You were collapsed. That's why I couldn't find you. This all becomes destination. And this all becomes ID. Okay. And then you. What did I just call you? Set destination table value. Your connection to update. UUID can't be null. Destination offset. Oh, just, fixing some bugs. What's up with you? Okay, and then up here, we do the same thing. The ID is the connection ID, and destination is destination. Okay. Now that we've done all this, in theory, our test should be okay. I think the deletes are still going to fail. Null check operator still. What is null in here? Can't you just give a brief of what I'm making? If it'll launch. Yeah, we get enough things into place for that. This, it's a map editor. So that you can edit the map and the connections and the rooms. Okay. How are you still null? Which part of you is null? You also made something like this in Go, right? Yes. I'm rebuilding it in Flutter because, oops, I put it in the wrong spot. Because the framework I was using for UI in Go just isn't mature enough. I kept running into bugs. Test controller, destination table. Starting data destination should be 2.2, right? It's 1.1. But it's going to be 2.2 after the map offset. So, test controller destination table. 2.2. Starting data UUID. 6D00. That's not this ID. Ah. Well, no, starting data is the connection from 0.1 to 1.1. Oh. Well, no, that should be correct. Because that'll be 2.2. So that's still not getting added correctly for some reason. So let's go back to load map here. And it should happen here. Do I want to do the offset in here? It's an interesting question. Anyway. Destination table 0, as it should be. Two zero. Two two. Connection 6000. That's correct. $60,000. You're new. We add you up. Okay. Here's another 2-2. Oh, it doesn't find it? Why doesn't contains key find you? We did implement that for coordinates, did we not? Oh, we didn't. Well, that's a problem. All right, we need to implement equality for them, and I believe it's hash and the equals that we need to override. And for coordinates, this is something that's useful elsewhere, so it's not just for the test, so I'm okay with adding it. Let's see here. There's a whole package for it. Here's somebody talking about it. Call to identical. This is a package. I need docs, please, and thank you. This seems to think that I could just... Oh, this isn't collection. And I guess we can just do whatever we want for the hash, I suppose. Their example here this part's easy. They're doing the value of their thing, and we could just do like add the two and then hash, I suppose. That would make some sense, right? Well, maybe not, because then like if you flip-flopped them, they'd be the same hash. So like 1 0 and 0 1 would have the same hash if you added it and hashed them. Let's instead do I guess we could hash the string. Not a whole lot of talk about it. Oh, here's somebody actually doing a point, which also has an X and a Y. What did they hash? Object hash. Oh, okay. I don't know about this object hash business. Seems logical, I guess. Let's give it a go. So we need to... I closed my other one too soon. Override. It's a bool. It's the operator. It's that. They used other, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to use this syntax because I like it more. But not better. Better is what they had. Okay, and then you're missing, okay, yes. Override. Hash code. What is this object hash business? Combined hash code for a number of objects. Oh, okay. Not guaranteed to be stable over different runs of the same program or between code run in different isolates of the same program. My question is, is XY and YX, if they're the same hash, using this? Let's open Dartpad. And I don't want all of this stuff. I really just want to run some Dart. Is that a thing I'm allowed to do in Dartpad? Is there bum, 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 bum. That's not what I want. I want Dartpad. Okay, so there should be a console somewhere. Ah. There we go. I just had to switch it up here and create to a Dart snippet. Okay. So. If we had 1, 1. And, well, yeah, 1, 1 would both be the same, right? That's probably not a good example. 1, 0, 0. There we go. Okay, so those would be different. Okay. So that should be fine. Let's do that. And now I run you again. And this was update horizontal connection. New connection. Okay, so we have some issues. Let's dig into what we got here. Probably just mix some stuff up. But we got different errors, so that's promising. Actually, I should come back into this. Just to be sure that we're correctly identifying this key now. Okay. This one's 2, 0. We were looking at 2, 2, right? This one. And you're not going to be in here, so we're going to add you. Boop. 0, 2. 0, 0. 4, 0. 2, 2. And it does contain now. Okay, perfect. And then our destination table for 2, 2. If we can find you, here you are. You're 2. Okay, that's more better. All right, now let's just go fix all the other stuff we broke along the way. Connection table. Things are not in there. Or so they say. Actually, let's actually just come down into that. We should actually get here in this test. So. We have a connection. This is the updated guy. So this is going to be the new one. Ah, right. We did change that. And forget to circle back to it. So when we go to our update. So we come into, let's minimize you. We come into update tile. And we do update room. Is this going to explain? No, it won't. Okay. Well, we'll start here. We update room connection. We might have to bring back that. This part. Ah. I brought way too many things in. Tell you what, I'm going to be right back, and then we'll figure out how we want to handle this use case for this function. Okay. So. This does make sense to still return these errors. I just kind of wonder if this helper is even any good for us. Like, we could just do this for ourselves in this case. It's probably still useful in the other places we're using it. Well, if we're going to do it that way, though... then we might as well just go back to... Other thing we could do here... Is there really a meaningful difference? Let's start there. If we just do... because then we'd have to handle doing the offset math in there, which means we could do it. It wouldn't be the end of the world. Kind of just keep circling that back to the same... If I make you... instead of this, well... if I make it nullable... remove connection tile, update. like so. And then I can say if you're null, then we throw an error. Then we can do that. We can do a similar thing here. It can also be an argument error. It can actually be the same one, basically. It'd be that one. And then that would simplify this an awful lot. So here, actually, it would just be this. No, don't do that. I like this better. It's more readable. Okay. Where does that put us for our test set here? Okay. Now we just got to go figure out these ones. All of our... Wait, no. This is still... This is still busted. Update tile lands me here. Oh, because we did... Okay, I see. We need to do the same thing here. Because this is for the this, except... Right, because it's new. Yeah, okay. Wait, hang on. You were updated here. We need to, in here... Let's rename this to connection data. Because this is actually updating the data itself, which lives on the room, which is kind of a little bit confusing, but like, it's all confusing because these guys don't exist. They're only existing for the sake of the UI. They actually live on the parent. So this is updating the connection data. Part of that needs to be updating a new connection here, means that we need to update connection table at UUID parent room's ID. Oh, it's because you are nullable. You can't be null at this point. And then we do the destination stuff. That should fix this one, at the very least, because it should now be in there. I'll check opera. Okay, so... What? Oh, I just want to debug the one. Why are you not... am I losing my mind? Hang on. Restart the IDE here. Debug this one. Just the one. Please and thank you. Craziness. Okay. So starting data, destination is 1, 1. So test controller, destination table. There's a 2, 0. There's a 2, 2. 0, 2. 0, 0. 4, 0. 4, 2. Mr. Zed, how's it going today? You're off early. Thank you so much for the raid. How was the everything? Pretty tired trying to reset my sleep schedule as usual, right? I've been drifting off of mine, Welcome everyone. We are working on the editor for a mud game. So the map editor specifically today. So that'd be this, so that you can change the rooms and the connections and how they connect and things. And I have a lovely bug after a refactor. I'm cleaning out all the mess in the guts of it here, where we are working with the data of the map itself, which is stored as JSON. So we need to be able to update the things in memory and then eventually write them back to the file and all that other good stuff. And it's kind of a bear. So that's what we're doing today. My sleep schedule has solidly decided it wants to be 3 a.m. to whenever, but work means I have to get up at like 9:30. Yes, I know the feeling. And what language am I using? C? No, this is Dart. Because I was using Go with a Go front-end library that was Flutter inspired, and among some other things. But it's too small of a project and it's too early in its life. So I kept running into bugs, and I was spending more time trying to figure out if the bug was an old bug or a new bug, or if I was doing something wrong with the framework. So I was like, okay, it's got to go. So I switched to Flutter itself. And it's okay. Time to just go Dart Flutter. Yes, exactly. That's what I said. It was nice to have everything in Go. Like I could reuse all of this parsing code for loading the map and everything, and the other files for that matter. And that was really cool. I was reasonably happy with the bones of the framework. Their project is super cool. And I hope they can get it ironed out in the future. But it just wasn't ready. The server and stuff is still in Go. I also rebuilt the client in Flutter. And it needs some tweaking. Being a mobile-first web framework, I'm not super happy with the client, but we have some options. We'll investigate them a little later. Get to the refining stage of that. Okay, so I was looking for destination. Okay, destination, starting data destination. Except for this is not going to be 1-1. This is going to be 2-2. We need to multiply it by the map offset. Is it live? Is it playable? Not really in either case. It's just the bones at this point. Detouring to rewrite the editor and the client has really slowed me down, but it had to happen. We can do a little demo real quick though. Let me start up the stuff. Okay. We'll launch the server. I believe it was just that. I need to choose the device. We need to build you because you haven't been built in a second. Okay. We have our little fella with a character in here, and we can look around and move around and look at the room and do all kinds of cool stuff like that. And then if we wanted to, we could launch a second client for testing purposes. And we could log into another character. And we could see ourselves appear in a poof of smoke as we log in. And we could see ourselves leave. see ourselves come back. And we could look at the other character in here and just see that he's a hardy adventurer. And then we can log out. I don't think I have a log out message yet, but that's about the extent of what you can actually do in the game thus far. I need to stop this. And I need to rerun this. It's a good start. Yeah, I was thinking so. The kind of the main things we need to get in place before we can start doing more game design, because we're like right now I'm still in engine build land, right? I need to be able to have maps connect to other maps. Like the framework for that should be in place. The UI doesn't exist yet. That was kind of where we were going when I was like, okay, everything's broken now after this update, except for, 3 of the things they fixed. So it's a rewrite time. So we need to get maps connected to other maps and NPCs. And then we can start, figuring out where to go from there. Those are kind of like the bigger missing pieces. We need some goblins and kobolds to smash. Okay, yes, I was looking in here. Okay, so the starting tile, destination, starting data, destination. Starting data, destination is 1, 1. So this should now be looking for 2, 2 here in my destination table, which should exist, and we should find things. Oh, and we've done... I need to do the same thing here. Just run these normal like. And see how many of them are failing currently. A lot is the answer. Twitch, y'all are going to have some ads in a hot second. Oh, I typoed that. About a minute and a half. And then we'll probably push on for like, another half hour or so. All right, what is still failing? New connection is passing. Fantastic. This one fixed. I suspect that these other ones are going to be missing the offset as well. But let's go find out. This connection was changed, and as room data, when we're updating the connection tile, tile to update comes in offset location as room data. This is not accounting for... This needs to be the parent offset location. And then I need to use the correct capitalization and the correct spelling. Wow. It's going to be like that, is it? Okay. Meow. Okay. Everything else is passing. These guys are the ones I bet that are missing. Yep. In both places. Well, it's going to be 3 places, I think. It's going to be here, it's going to be here, and it's going to be here. Because we're doing... We're reaching into the map itself for the purpose of the test. We're not using the APIs because we want to not conflate testing. And this one is going to be the same problem. And we use delete connection there. Like so. Yeah, all of these remove tests. Is this room table connection? I think that's going to be fine. Should do. Let's just copy that. So that I can paste it in place of these fellas here. And then hopefully all of the connection tile tests will be passing again with a slightly more sane approach here. Okay. That should do. Perfect. Fantastic. Now, we can go back to the remove room, which is where we were when we decided that things were not where they needed to be. All right. And you, yeah, you have a concurrent modification trub in here. For this, we're just doing... We use you just because this is the thing we're really interested in. Because we need to make sure that we remove you from both sides of things. Remove connection tile. Okay, so I've got the same problem where where are we messing with the parent? Set connection tile data. And this is just the connection tile. It's not the connection data. Connection table, we remove that. It's because of this right here. because we do reach in there and yank you out. So if we go back up, how do I want to do that? Who else uses you? Delete connection and update room are the only places. And I think what we're going to want to do here is actually the same thing, where one needs to clear out the data, the other needs to handle the tile. The fake tile, because the tile doesn't exist. It's just for holding the information for the UI's convenience, essentially. The tile connection information actually lives on the room tiles. So I'm going to want to pull you out, I think. And do I want to... Yeah. Basically, all of this is going to come out. And that'll just do the tile bit. And then we can do... something like this, I think. You can come up here and be responsible for this. We're going to need you to come up here as well, so that we know the location of where you came from. And in this case, this really can't be null. We're deleting you. You had to have been somewhere, in theory. Actually, here we just need to say throw an argument error. We can say unable to get parent offset for provided connection ID of whatever it was. And then we continue on from there. So when we come up here and we do the delete, we need to remove the tile. And then we need to do delete connection. Okay. So now when we delete the room, we're going to do the same thing, except that's going to end up with the same problem here, right here, though, if we use this method. But when we call you from up here, we do want that to still be there. What do I want to do about that? This should actually be like clear connection tile. Because that's what it does. We don't actually delete them. We just clear their connections and leave the placeholder object in place for connection tiles. But you... This just needs to come out of here. Well... Is that true? I think... that what I really need to do is say... is make a copy of this list here. Actually, I think I just call clear on you. That'll be fine. And then this... is that going to cause an error when I come down here? Because I think I want to have this ability in here still. Remove where, so it should be fine. I might not even need to do this, actually. Because I've created a copy of that. It's not a deep copy, but I don't think it'll care. Let's find out. Nope. It would need to be a deep copy, apparently. If I do that, what happens? Just out of curiosity. Found a connection table after removal. Interesting. Okay. Let's roll this little experiment back real quick. That's fine. That's enough. So what do I want to do about this? Oh, for one, I'm calling the wrong thing. There is a difference now. We might want to revisit that naming. It's still going to be mad at me. Yeah. Confused as to why this has become a failure now. Oops, wrong button. This one. It didn't clear the connection table. Let's figure that out really quick before we continue on. This is on an update. It's going to be because of this. Got to think about this a little bit too. How do I want to tackle this? Because right now, if we... It's because connection, I bet you connection data, we would need to implement equality in connection data. And this is a reasonably good reason to do so, I think. Because it's not just for a test. This is for code that gets run. So for that, we need to... Oh, what was the syntax? It's just operator. It's the same as we did over here for coordinates. And we can do the same exact if your connection data and let's see, what else do we have? Comma in the wrong spot. Transit enter, transit exit. I forgot my equalities. And exit description. Do 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 do. Okay. So if all of that is equal, they're the same object. Stage for deletion, we're not going to count. That's mostly for the UI. And then we need to override hash, and this is going to help us, but we're not going to do that. We're going to return object hash, and we're going to feed it in all of our things and let it hash them. Now I'm curious if this is going to just magically work, because we can now actually determine if it contains. No. Okay. That's okay. We just need to take a look and see what we overlooked. Current object connections. And this is in my update. So I've got 7 connections right now. 1, 1 to 0, 0 to 1, 0 to 2, 0 to 2, 1. It's in the middle, so that makes sense. That it has so many. It's got 8 because it's a middle tile. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Yeah, I can count. And our connection data here. Room to update. Where does con data come from again? Wait a second. Current object connections. Room to update connection. Okay. Because current object is the current. Room to update is the one incoming. If this does not contain... So if the incoming does not contain something we find here, but these are both 8. Why? Why would that be? Because you... Give me your duck. Length -1. Why was it passing before would be my question. Until count elements have been seen. So that should be correct because it's funky. But let's double check it. Okay. I wonder if I just broke too early on there. But that's fine. We can still check you. So this whole thing Is not right. Well, why is it working before then? I've still got 8 elements. Perplexing. Still have 8 elements. That's weird. If I manually just say 7, I end up with 8 elements. Okay. What's my other options for in Dart? There's a sublist. Elements between start and end. I could do that. Okay. So I could say here. Well, let's just play with it here. Sublist from 0 to length -1. That would give me 7. Can't be assigned to list type connection data. Oh, I would need to take you guys out. Like so. Curious if that... It would not. Okay. Give me another debug here. And I actually should... Okay, because we use this on the construction, I believe. So, the room to update, it's only got 7. And our current object, current room, has 8. Let's just come down here and see what toDelete contains. Contains one thing. It's 1, 1 to 0, 1. That should be correct. So we clear it. It's because in here, we need to also delete this. Unable to get parent. Why would that be? I'm going to track down where this other use is really quick too then. Should only be used by update tile. But we did see it get used twice in here. So we should see it hit this first and then this. Okay, we do. Oh, I think I put them in the wrong order. We need to clear the tile and then delete the connection. Because once we delete the connection, it won't be in the list. There we go. Okay. I'm curious about this, though. If I was to put that back... it still passes. It must have something to do with being a lazy evaluation, I wonder? I'm going to switch to this. And we're going to go... double check if there's anywhere else I use take in this test. Yep, I used it here. I'm going to replace you. Looks like that was the only other place. Okay, good. Let's run that and make sure it's everything still passing. Except for the remove. Yeah, we know we need to track down an answer for you. Okay. Everything else passing. I can either deep copy this. Is there some sort of like... like well-known pattern that I'm ignorant of in the Dart world for this? Can remove where, but that's not going to help me. Yeah. They're just telling me what I already know. This is just not... we can do... this is supposed to give me a deep copy, apparently. I'm a little skeptical of that. Let's find out, though. Looks like it does. Okay. What was the modification? Concurrent modification during iteration. All right. So that should be our test for ye olde room data removal. New connection is not used in here. Connection added. State room connection added. I wish I could learn to program like this. You can! Just start learning. Start making things. And do it a lot. And then you too can be astonished at how stupid you are when a problem comes up and you realize that it's entirely your fault. Like, why do I have this other connection object that I didn't use? This is supposed to be a connection is added. But I never used it. We went to all the trouble of having him. We can put connections up here. Oh, hang on. It's okay. He was used. I can't add to the sublist. Okay. Right, no list there. Oh, you need to go here, and then we need a closing. There we go. But that does tell us that we didn't check correctly to make sure that our new connection actually made it in. Because that test wasn't failing. Updated data connections. We diffed you, but we didn't. So here, we're going to comment you out really quick so that we can verify that it's failing. We're going to expect test controller map at 2 as room data, because the map holds objects so that it can hold everything. No period. Oh my gosh. No period there. The length of this should be still 8. But let's make this test a little bit less fragile. Because we remove one and then add one. It should come to be the same length at the end. It should all come out that way. So. Really? That's surprising. Map at 2, 2. Connection size is 6. The target tile connection size is 6 too. Oh. Okay, so we need to leave myself a note. I'm going to actually, even though this is still broken, let's close all this down real quick. Tile template test data, that shouldn't be in there. Where are you? Editor. Oh, right here. Why didn't you get cleaned up? The rest of you... Map controller test, coordinates, connection model. Yeah. Oh, I'm in server. Meant quality for coordinates and connection data. We factor the connection editing helper functions split up room data changes and the imaginary connection data changes better. Because we made a bunch of improvements that we do want to keep. We do need to track down this issue still. But we can certainly do that. But it's getting late here, which means it's time for me to go to bed. So, thank you to everybody who came to hang out. It was good to see those of you who I've seen before, and it was good to meet those of you who are new. If you like this kind of thing, I do it 4 days a week for roughly 2 hours right about now, but I'm getting ready to change my schedule up a little bit for the immediate future. So, come back around this time on Friday, and, well, no, sorry, not this time. It's going to be afternoons on Friday. Check the schedule. You'll find me. But yeah, so I hope to see you again. And if not, then you guys have yourselves a great weekend.